for last. JD, I'm going to start with you. Obviously, getting an opportunity to see both of these teams yesterday. In your head, advantage goes to whom?
Man, I don't know. To me, it's a coin flip. I like the energy you're going to get out of the Woodlands, but to watch ESD yesterday, they played a solid game for the most part, mistake-free. No little hiccups. I think that was the separator between them and Highland Park. They were just very crisp, and it's a toss-up to me.
Dalton, your expectations in this one?
Yeah, it was great catching up with both coaches. ESD, talking to Coach Southern, he felt like the constant theme for ESD this year was handling the big moments. They've won in different ways. They were down 3, up 3. Pretty similar with the Woodlands. Talking to Coach DeMayo, they've always found a way to win. Team wins and the next man up mentality.
Connor Kalowski is in between the pipes for the Eagles, and on the other side, number 3 for the Highlanders, Steele Kroom. Ball brought inbounds by Sawyer Stewart. The guy that you see right there, number 1, Kimo Kaletsis. This is the guy that no matter what, ESD has to find a way to stop him if they have a chance.
And they did a great job utilizing Pennington, who's been the anchor point of their short stick D midi, to slide early to Kimo.
As rotation is on, and you see the Eagles defense extending all the way out. And following behind the X. Well, the Eagles slide coming immediately. Bouncer inside, and who's going to draw first blood other than number 26, Mason, Mr. Wendell?
And he has been the storyline earlier this week, talking to Coach DeMayo. He talked about in the quarterfinals how Mason Wendell is one of those guys that has stepped up for this team with 5 goals. You saw him put on a performance yesterday, and here he is, the first one that draws blood.
Yeah, and the thing that comes to me is the physical presence. ESD obviously winning the head and shoulders contest, but, again, the Woodlands didn't back down yesterday from Highland Park, and they were giving up quite a bit. But some of these kids from the Woodlands, they may be small in stature, but they are as strong as a garlic milkshake.
That's strong.
Strong.
That's so strong, I don't think I want to try that.
No, see it. And if you got down on Kimo, you wouldn't want to try him either.
Javier Montero working his way through the alley, through the hash.
Yeah, and Xander has been a key point for ESD. He did an incredible job on drawing some of those slides. You know, one of the key things to watch is going to be on the face-offs. Last time when they played, I think the Woodlands won every one but 4 out of 34. So them getting that infraction and getting possession was huge. They got to take advantage of every single one of their possessions today.
Montero with the shot. Steele Kroom with the save. And number 10, Sean Brown says, I got something for you.
Sean Brown has done an impressive job all year talking to Coach Southern. Really gave him a lot of kudos on how he runs the offense. He does a great job utilizing that big little situation, dropping his hands, shooting around that defenseman to put it past Kroom. But really commended Sean Brown and sticking to the offense. And if you want to make a case for adding in the hockey assist, he is the guy. I mean, he had so many second assists yesterday. He starts the offense for ESD.
Lear and Presnall down at the face-off, and Highlanders with a win at X, and that's a pass that goes off of the stick. Number 21 not able to handle it. Colin Brown. It's going to be a turnover going the other way for ESD. ESD 4-0 in district, 17-4 overall, with a victory, 2-score victory last night over Highland Park.
And one of the things, you're seeing a really high level lacrosse. This is the highest level lacrosse we have in the state of Texas. You got a lot of guys going to play at multiple different levels, NCAA, Division I, II, and III. And the constant theme between both coaches, they really felt like whichever team made the least amount of mistakes is going to come out on top tonight.
Yeah, you make mistakes, they will make you pay. On the other side, for the Highlanders, they come in 6-0 in district and 12-3 overall. They make it to the state title with a victory last night over Westlake. Highlanders setting up their offense behind the X with number 10, Baron Sager.
ESD looks like they're doing a little short stick shutoff. They were running Chemo out of the box to try and get a mismatch. ESD's able to switch that matchup.
But back to mistakes that you were talking about, in a typical game, a pass off stick, a drop ball, a bobble ball, an unforced ground ball, stuff like that. You just move on. In a game like this, that's a huge problem that you have to correct immediately.
Well, and one of the messages I like to do, it doesn't matter whether it's younger kids, club, or even with USA, like, it's a difference between making creative turnovers and dumb turnovers. You want to limit the unforced turnovers, like right there. You saw that defender crashing down on Cullen Brown. It's probably better to pull that one out and make an easier pass.
And Sawyer Stewart attempting the pass. It goes out of bounds and attempting to get that into Colin Brown. Working the clear. Easy here for ESD. Working inside, feet set, and that hits the back of the net. Number 23, Mason Love, is showing none to Steel Kroom.
Logan with an absolute hammer there. And that's just a great example of ESD executing the early offense. And that started with Xavier Monotero pushing that in transition, dumping it over to his teammate Logan, who goes high to high and puts it past Kroom. And
that's Josh Logan. I gave credit to 23, Mason Love. Wherever you are, Mason, you're over there. You just got your name called, sir.
but Logan had a lot of room. Took about 3 crow hops to unload before he ever had any defensive contact. And if you're the Woodlands, you gotta stop that. You got to put a body on these guys.
But that's Josh Logan. We've seen that yesterday as well. His ability to get that ball off the head of his stick. He is firing from all distances and up by a score here. And talk about returning fire in a hurry. That's Colin Brown with the shot attempt. Possession going to stay on this end with the Highlanders. TJ Gatchell, number 17, defending from behind X.
And he's been a player who he was their number 1 cover guy last year. He's been battling a lot of injuries. He went from drawing the number 1 guy every single game last year, and he's starting to get back healthy. You saw how crucial he was in the Parker-Addison matchup yesterday against Highland Park.
Cam Conradi also keeping an eye on Coletsis. Coletsis trying to run around the double team and just see how slick this guy is, and he just feels like he can score from any angle on the field.
Mauser with a great hustle play. He's got his work cut out for him, guarding Chemo, but then making those big plays, chasing that ball out of bounds.
Prestige with the clear for the Eagles as they go back to work. Number 33, Josh Logan, who we just scored for the Eagles.
And that's a huge advantage that ESD has. Jackson Pennington, arguably one of the best short stick D middies. You got Prestige. And then one of the adjustments they recently made, talking to Coach Southern, was having Conradi playing more of a two-way or defensive midi because he's so good at generating offense in between the lines, clearing it up the field.
Better get somebody on 33. He's trying to get a shot in on Kroom. It's a great save by number 3. And now the Highlanders going the other way.
And he needed that. ESD's put 2 past him. That's really good for his confidence. He does a great job driving his lead hand and getting down to the ball and following with his feet.
Turnover there by the Woodlands, working their way back inside. A shot from the far side by Hunt Sands. Hunt Sands also had one heck of a game. And it was more of a Sands family reunion. Both he and his cousin got hot. A shot going out of bounds, and
yeah, just a little bit high there. It was a good look. You're starting to see ESD really work that big little matchup, getting a short stick to set a pick on that pole to draw a mismatch for Sean Brown. He had the guy wide open, but just a little high. Got to address those shooters, especially when it's wet out.
Now, Brown, on an earlier possession, was looking down a lane and actually looked off a shot, went back onto the rotation, and opted off simply because he didn't feel like he could roam that shot in.
You like that contact on the other side by Pennington? Alexis with the vision, checking Colin Brown standing on the crease, and how about that? On the doorstep.
You know, it started with a great jump switch by Pennington, but then he got a little aggressive lunge, which caused Chemo to get a step on his man. They were trying to slide, and Chemo, just with incredible vision, finds his teammate on the backside and is able to put that in the back of the net, tying it up 2-2.
And Kalowski probably asking himself, man, I'm keeping my head on the swivel. Nothing you could do right there if you're number 8. Here we are again back at the face-off, taken by Asher Presnell.
You know, the face-off has been something that's been difficult for ESD this year. They've had to rotate guys through, guys that have typically not taken face-offs that have really stepped up for them. That's one of the things that Coach Southern talked about. Hey, we got to get creative today. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some maybe double pull action on the wings or having a long pull facing off.
Working it back inside. They had a man, Baron Sager, looked like he had an opportunity. Great defense there by the Eagles.
Yeah, Mauser just shutting that thing down in the lane.
I mean, he's doing a really good job. You know, he's done a nice job when it's one-on-one matchup with Chemo, but then the checkdowns and running and getting those possession turnovers, excellent job.
Hunt Sands looked like he had an opportunity, but ESD having to chase down a loose ball, but still continuing with the possession. 3:44 in the first quarter, and we're knotted up at 2. One-on-one, and Wade a step out for Steel Kroom to force the errant shot.
Xavier did a great job finding the open man. Michael Golia just running out of his angle. Got to capitalize on those in the inside.
Yeah, Golia was grabbing the helmet on the way to the end line to keep that thing live for him. He wants that one back.
Sean Brown inside and low to high for number 10. Well, Sean Brown is as advertised.
Jim, you're right about that. Golia makes up with it on getting that shot, scoops it up, draws that adjacent slide, and then Sean Brown with the low to high gets Kroom to bite on that low shot. He was following the head of his stick and puts that up in the upper 90.
Here we are again back down at the X313. ESD 3, the Woodlands 2. As Asher Presnall setting up for the face-off, and
big win for the Eagles.
Logan Lear able to come away with the possession at X. Now trying to work the clear. They do.
Great heads-up play by Logan. He almost stepped over.
Working inside, and that's a check that brings that ball off the head of the stick. Sean Brown does not miss by that wide of a margin.
Almost took the hat off the official, too.
Hey, We know that's your favorite guy over there on that side.
No, not these guys are fine.
Okay.
He's had his head on the swivel.
Wait a minute. Did you hear that, JD?
No, these guys are okay. I meant those other guys.
Okay. And working back through the alley. Another shot attempt that.
He's alienated every official in the state of Texas.
Montero put the shot that goes out of bounds. ESD with the possession. Trying to run back around the screen. It's number 30, Finley Lear.
Yeah, Xavier's doing a nice job. He's winning a lot of these short stick matchups.
Montero. Oh, Montero. Man, could not have asked for a colder shot from about 10 yards out.
Yeah, if I'm the Woodlands, I'm going to look to start putting the poll on that matchup against Xavier, the senior, just coming up big right now in the state championship.
Yeah, his window was extremely narrow, just even right off the stick head. I mean, he had to be on point.
We are back down at the X. Another opportunity here for the Woodlands. Sawyer Stewart. Possession. Here we are, under 2 minutes left here in the first quarter, and my goodness, the pace of this game.
Everything we thought it'd be.
Wow, and that's just pickpocketing right there.
Well, and that's just a great. Big stop. Newhoff again coming up with the ground ball.
William O'Rourke thought he had an opportunity, but that ESD defense is just lurking.
Well, that's the kind of takeaway checks you want to have as a defender. Newhoff didn't have a big wind up. He just left his shoulder on that stick on the back shoulder, and as he wound up, he came with the check down and then comes up big with the ground ball for ESD to come up with the offense possession.
Wide open lane for number 34, Trip Black.
Yeah, Trip faded a little bit. Low angle. He tried to drop his hands to increase that angle. You got to keep that stick tucked and just try to finish in front.
And again, we talked about leverage from the goalie. Kroom shut that off, stepped out, cut that angle off, forced the shot.
Finding the guy backside. Still Kroom stepping all the way out of the crease.
No, all but 1 foot. He can still play in there.
Yeah, Woodlands does a great job crashing down on Golia, but that was a really impressive spot feed by Sean Brown over to Michael Golia. And then continuing to ride.
Almost making the connection there on the far side. Ball goes out of bounds. Possession staying on this end.
I'll tell you what, Lars Tiffany's going to be very happy with his incoming freshman, Sean Brown, keeping 2 hands on his stick and just riding relentlessly.
Man, that's
got away with one.
Yeah.
Kroom almost got that on cage.
He really did. I think that's an example of what you were talking about, getting down to the end line to keep the possession as the first quarter comes to a close. ESD 4, the Woodlands 2, and the Class 2A THSLL state title here on Game On Sports. They take a break for the first quarter. We will as well in return for the second quarter of action. Game On would like to thank one of our sponsors for this weekend's games, Next Gen Audio Video. They've been serving North Dallas since 2010 with services that include home theater design and installation. You'll have peace of mind knowing that all of your AV needs are in the hands of people who care. Check them out at nextgenaudio.com. And that's nextgenaudiovideo.com. Make sure you get to the right place, JD.
Always want to land on the right place on the web.
Absolutely. You're going to get those.
Don't land on the wrong place.
Those two 15 speakers, the subwoofer in the back of your car, so you can disturb your homeowners association. Well, don't mind me. It's just JD. Here we are back down at the X to start the second quarter. Guys trying to grind it out. Asher Presnall with another win at the face-off. Another opportunity here for the Woodlands to chip into this 2-point lead of ESD. Talk about defending out high on the perimeter. I said it in the last game that as soon as Kimo Kaletsis comes into the building, you better make sure you have a guy walking with him.
And one of the things talking to Coach Southern was, you know Kimo is going to get his points. What you don't want to do, especially because his vision is so good, is to let the other guys on the team, whether that's a Sager, a Sawyer, a Mason Wendell.
Oh, my God. Whoa. I'm sorry. So wait a minute. Wow.
He must have heard me saying he was going to get his points.
Yo. Wait a minute. What an incredible shot.
I mean, he's just putting on display his just dynamic ability. He does a great job driving up the hashes with the jumper.
Just the patience, though, to continue to stay steadfast. I'm thinking he's looking for an outlet pass. You're talking about him facilitating the offense, and maybe that's what he was doing. And just like that, he snaps that shot off.
And that's what makes it so difficult to defend him. Oh, you don't want that as ESD. That's a great job by Presnall, recognizing ESD went early. You have to give the ball carrier 5 yards to start the possession. If you're inside 5 yards, you're going to get that penalty. Woodlands has got a free play after a dead ball or a goal. They're going to go extra man.
Man up opportunity here for the Woodlands as they slow things down. Come across through the alley.
Yeah, ESD is putting pressure on. I wouldn't even call it chasing. Just a lot of directed pressure out on the perimeter, and then you're getting pressure up to the midline by the attackman.
Kaletsis standing in the alley.
Mauser again, just an excellent approach to get on that passer's gloves to dislodge that pass.
And that's from the other side. That's Sawyer Stewart with the shot. And here comes the man-up opportunity for the Woodlands.
This is a massive opportunity for the Woodlands. ESD's been on a run. Kimo bringing back some of that momentum, taking advantage of the short stick mismatch, driving up the hashes. Let's see if they can execute on the extra man opportunity.
And that's a delay of game on ESD. And shooting right away. Kalowski down on the knee to get the save.
That was just an excellent read by Kolosky. He recognized Cullen Brown dropping his hands, followed along with the head of his stick to come up with a big stop. And ESD should be able to kill this penalty off.
Cam Conradi runs off, substitutions being made, and ESD doesn't look like they look like they're trying to burn the penalty. They still are working the offense behind X, looking for some cutters, staying aggressive.
Back to 6-on-6 play. Defensive coordinator, Coach Kutzer's got to be happy with that stop.
Boy, trying to jump in on Sean Brown, and Sean Brown makes the pass. Charlie Newhoff looked like he had an opportunity. Flag comes out at the last minute. What is the call?
Yeah, I think they either unnecessary roughness or a late hit there.
Waiting on the call. Okay, there's a holding penalty on Hayden Johnson. So now man-up opportunity for ESD. They take a shot immediately.
Yeah, typically in those EMO opportunities, you want to work it a little bit. Take advantage, and how you really take advantage of a man-down situation is causing that defense to rotate.
Reaching up and grabbing that one out of the air, Christian Pierce. The guy as fast as Kimo Coletsis. He's always protecting that stick.
One of the things, talking with Coach DeMeo, obviously it's easy to see Kimo's motor, toughness, competitive spirit, but gave him a lot of kudos in terms of his ability and skill set as a leader. He's been huge this year, just in positive feedback to his teammates.
And they burned the penalty. We're all knotted up here. And you forget, Coletsis, he's just a junior. He'll be back.
Yeah, unfortunately for Penn, they got to wait another year.
And unfortunately for the rest of the team and the teams in the THSLL, he's going to be around for another year. Oh, that shot comes off the head of the stick, going to go the other way for ESD.
Excellent job by Langston applying pressure to cause that turnover.
7:22 left here in the first half. ESD ahead by a score. And back and forth we go.
Oh, man, you got Logan wide open on that far side. Conrady's dangerous in transition.
Oh, off of the back of a Highlander player.
That was a great job by the defender, stepping in and soaking that shot.
That's going to leave a mark. Oh, great dodge behind coming. Oh, he got it. Call him on the crease. They're going to wave that off. Colin Brown, boy, maybe he wants to protest that one because it looked like that was close.
Well, yeah, he was tight roping it on the inside. That push didn't help.
Yeah, it's a shame because he really put on several different skills to get in front of that cage, starting off with the face dodge, then a pump fake to freeze that defenseman, but unfortunately was in the crease.
And we have a whistle down on the field and stoppage in play. Officials meet on the far side. And the good old shot clock, JD.
Shot clock issue.
ESD just continuing to work their
big little from behind
offense. Running across the double team, and I'll tell you, Steel Kroom will take that. Six minutes left here in the first half. Like the Woodlands had an opportunity to tie it up. The tying goal waved off by a crease violation. Sean Brown muscling his way. That's calling your own number, and number 10 with the flex.
That was just a great job. Individual, just the physicality and protecting his stick. Not to mention, I think he took one in the throat there.
Yeah, Kimo came in late on that to pick him up and got in on his throat. But nice shot regardless, but tremendous hustle from Colettis to get back and cover that.
Sean Brown showcasing why he's going to be playing Division I lacrosse at the University of Virginia next year.
Another win at the face-off. An opportunity now for the Highlanders. Down by 2. Boy, that wave off on that goal was huge. Stealing a lot of the momentum back. Woodlands having to continue to answer the bell as ESD goes ahead by 2.
Well, one of the things that's been the most impressive thing that I've seen is really the ESD defense, especially individual efforts by Mauser and Newhoff. They've been doing a great job on their one-on-one individual matchups with solid approaches, but their hustle plays on the ground balls and getting possession.
Game On Sports is more than just home of the THSLL. Game On also broadcasts football, baseball, basketball from high schools all over Texas. You can see our full schedule on our website at GameOnSportsNetwork.com and stay up to date on all of our social media channels at Game On Sports Network. And this first half, guys, I'm torn on which direction this is going. ESD obviously has the lead, but on the other side for the Highlanders, you can see how quickly these guys can score, and all they need is just to get in rhythm offensively. Colettis showed you right there, man, how easy it is for him to score.
And I think right now, Chemo's just got to get some help from some of his other players. Look for Sawyer, Stewart, Wendell, Barron to start winning some of those individual matchups or working together on some off-ball pick and seal play.
And let us know who you are picking in the comments on the YouTube station. Are you with ESD or are you with the Woodlands? I'm old school, JD. I did say station.
You did.
Instead of that.
That you did.
I did, didn't I?
Station, like charging station? Shout out for Tesla. Wait for those sponsorship dollars. Elon, help us out.
Absolutely. Another one of those cold calls you need to make, Dalton.
Oh, I'd love to.
Colettis is behind X trying to facilitate the offense. And look at this. ESD staying back. Like they had an open opportunity, elected to pull it back. Sawyer Stewart.
And they're doing a great job with the changeup.
Oh, Colettis, the dot, they wave it off again. And Colettis going right to the referee. Wow, that's 2 that's been waved off.
Kudos to Coach Kutzer, the D coordinator, coming out, mixing it up with the zone action there. Couldn't tell from up here. Up. We get an offsides. Woodlands going to get the ball back.
Yeah, offsides penalty, but man, really want to see the replay on that last shot. And, hey, way to make up for lost time. Sager says, no way you're going to wave this one off.
Yeah, Woodlands opted to go fast and drawing the energy on that with the score.
And that's just a great job by Barron Sager shooting around that defenseman, puts that high to high past ESD.
Here we are again back at the X. Logan Lear, number 37, and number 2, Asher Presnell. So far, face-off being dominated by the Highlanders.
And that's why it's so crucial for ESD. You can't have those offside mistakes. Once you got a chance to get the ball back, you have to make every single possession count. And they've done a good job, 6-on-6 in early offense. Could have some transition here.
But it goes back to what you were saying earlier. The little mistakes are going to add up, and you gotta stop those as quick as you're making them.
2 crease violations here in the second quarter for the Highlanders. Emo Coletsis makes what looks like is an athletic move, but they call him for dodging into the crease. They wave it off. Coletsis now operating the offense from behind X in a pass. Back top side.
And a big adjustment talking to Coach Southern from the first time they played. Nice stop.
Trying to hustle for that ground ball.
The Woodlands, unfortunately, without one of their best players, Ridge Crouch.
Yeah.
The first time they pulled him, they short-sticked Sawyer Stewart, who made him pay. They've adjusted that. You've seen the pull matchup on them, and it seems to be working out for the defensive squad.
Xavier Montero on working from behind the X. Montero being guarded by Norbert Jones.
Nice pipe save on that shot.
That almost went 100 yards off the pipe.
Yeah. It came off with more velocity than it went in, I think.
Well, he's got the heat. He just hasn't connected those shots yet.
And a timeout called by the Woodlands.
It's a great call by Coach DeMeo. They could draw something up, get a goal here to tie it before the end of the first half.
The McKinney Police Association is raffling a vehicle at their annual charitable golf tournament. This tournament benefits officers during trying times. Those trying times include injuries, severely sick children, and many other things that tend to burden officers with expenses out of their control. You can assist with this great cause by purchasing a $100 raffle ticket for your opportunity to win a brand new Cadillac CT4. The winner of this vehicle will be announced on the day of the tournament, May 24th, 2024. You do not have to be present to win. Go to www.cognitoforms.com/NEP services/Crest Car Raffle to purchase tickets. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left in the first half, and this thing is a pace that is flying. I mean, how about this? We've been going 5 games yesterday, 3 today, and I think this has been the fastest first half that we've experienced so far.
There's been a lot of exciting games, and this is definitely one of them. But this is a blistering pace.
Both teams make their way back onto the field. Possession is going to be with the Highlanders.
So the last time they called a timeout, ESD switched it up, came out in the zone. Let's look to see if they stay with the short stick matchup or they fall back into a zone.
We're now getting it to Coletsis. Coletsis coming around, bouncer hits it where it needs to go. And that's it. Number 1 with the 1. And we're all tied up here in Magnolia.
And that was an excellent job. They get a little 2-man action from behind. Chemo with the seal allows him to get a foot on his defenseman. And just a great shot. Puts that between the legs. Tied ball game.
Yeah, I want to see where he starts this thing. Yeah. I mean, he used every bit of that 6x.
Man, vision there by number 1, Chemo Coletsis. We're tied up.
Big win by ESD in the faceoff.
Logan Lear with the win, trying to weave through traffic. Getting it down to Finley Lear. And a flag. Comes out, another penalty called on the field. Let's see who this is called on.
Doesn't look like Coach DeMeo is very happy about that. Unfortunately, I think you guys caught me napping. I was looking down my notes, so I missed it.
So either way, timeout called with 1:42.
Looks like the officials are still having a conversation on the infraction here.
I'm going to be honest with you, Dalton. I did not see what happened.
Yeah, I think they caught us all with our heads down.
I didn't see the penalty, but either way, we will get an announcement of what happened on the flag.
I think we were all daydreaming about that McKinney caddy.
I was actually trying. I was looking up I was trying to get a number on something that was very obscure and unimportant at this point, but.
Looks like we have an unsportsmanlike against Asher Presnall. 30-second penalty.
Yeah, I'm thinking that might have been a late hit there.
Michael Goglia bringing the ball in play. So there's a difference now. It's a conduct foul. Dalton, maybe something he said.
Yeah, conduct's only going to be 30 seconds compared to if they were saying it was an unsportsmanlike. That would have been a 1 minute. Could be locked in.
It is Mother's Day, and Sean Brown is sending roses right now to his mom. Another score for number 10.
Well, Sean Brown has been in a few of these games, and I think he's trying to finish off his career. Does a great job. Several different wind-ups, fakes, and just hammers that high to low. Gets Kroom on the bouncer. But he's not ready to finish his career down here in Texas without a ring.
That's the hat trick for number 10.
Yeah, just not much pressure off the attackman for Woodlands, giving him free rein to work on that outside.
Presnall with the win at the faceoff. Baron Sager would have to be Shaq to be able to go up and pull that one down.
Yeah, no, that was a great job by ESD. That's what they got to do. I mean, it's a lopsided matchup on the faceoffs. Presnall's arguably one of the best, if not the best, faceoff midfielder in Texas. You got to make those turnovers, cause turnovers in between the lines.
And Logan Brown defending behind the X.
Couple second difference between the end of the second half and the shot clock.
You're looking at about a 4 second difference.
So ESD is going to probably really sit back and work to take the final shot.
Josh Logan working from behind the X. Five-hole steel Kroom hangs his head.
Yeah, as soon as he got free, that shot was off. He created separation with his momentum coming through the backside.
Yeah, great job by Logan, just taking advantage of that short stick matchup. Gets up the hashes. And you saw Sean Brown have success with that bouncer. Logan decides to do that, which is very fitting because both of them have hat tricks here in the first half for ESD.
And just like that, ESD back ahead by 2. And Dalton, you talked about teams making mistakes, and on that last faceoff, Presnall with the win, the errant pass and the turnover going back to ESD, and ESD makes him pay. Chemo working through the double team.
Oh, wow.
Still attempting a shot to end the first half. ESD 7, the Woodlands 5, and this has been a back and forth affair, but if you're ESD, you're thanking God that you have a Sean Brown and Josh Logan on your team, because those two guys, their sticks are on fire, Dalton.
That was one of their goals, especially knowing the fact they're probably going to have limited possessions from the face-off. They had to shoot well. They felt like the last time they did a pretty good job of shooting, and they're certainly doing it here in the first half.
JD, your impressions of that first half?
I'm still impressed with the Woodlands, their energy. I think the little finite errors that are occurring, they need to clean that up. But I think they're on track. I mean, I like how they're playing. I like their approach. They just have to. They're winning at the face-off. They need to be able to finish that.
Yeah, both teams are now taking a break for halftime. We're going to take one with them as well. We have 24 minutes before the championship trophy is awarded. Who wants to go home with it? We'll find out here in the second half on Game On Sports.
That brings us to the Woodlands. We'd like to recognize their All-State Steel Crew Woodlands Junior defense All-State. Ridge Crouch Woodlands Senior midfield All-State. Kilo Alexis Woodlands Junior attack All-State. Christian Pierce, Woodlands Senior, Small Stick Mini, All-State. Asher Presnall, Woodlands Junior, Toyesa, All-State. Landon Shepard, Woodlands Sophomore Defense, All-State. Sawyer Stewart, Woodlands Senior, Midfield, All-State. Aiden Isika, Woodlands Senior, LSM, All District. Aiden Johnson, Woodlands Sophomore Defense, All District. Baron Sager, Woodlands Freshman Attack, All District. Congratulations to you all.
Action set to begin here. 24 minutes for the THSLL state championship. As the Woodlands get the possession to start things off here in the third quarter. And Dalton, I look for the Woodlands to be a lot more aggressive here down by 2. They've seen some different wrinkles thrown out at them defensively.
Well, you were right. You saw it right out of the gate. Chemo just pulling up his matchup to the 40-yard line and just attacking downhill. Penetrates the defense. Shot was a little wide.
They're still operating now behind the X. Getting it back to Kaletsis. And you see how quickly that slide is coming from ESD. Don't want to allow this guy to get topside and get his hands free.
For a number of reasons, not just the scoring ability, but also his vision and feeding ability.
You see right now William O'Rourke standing in the alley. Pass over the top of the defense. That's going to be a turnover and going the other way for the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We had maybe a few folks in the stands chirping. Maybe that's where the pass was headed.
Maybe so. TJ Gatchell bringing the ball in play. ESD with the clear. I can imagine that there's plenty of chirping going on in the stands up here. Thank God our microphones aren't picking up everything.
The ambient chirp noise.
Josh Logan with a pass inside.
I mean, the spot feed by Logan. I mean, It's incredible. You see Sean Brown throw the spot feed. You see Logan throw the spot feed. You see Sean Brown shoot the high to low bouncer. I mean, just great vision. Throws it out there. Lets Hunt Sands goes and gets it. And just his ability to tiptoe around the crease and fake while he's in the air to put that in the back of the net. That's exactly how ESD wants to start the second half.
Well, and he was, I mean, he's working on the end of the stick. So, you know, he doesn't have a lot of leverage on that thing. So great body control.
All wrist action there for sure.
Presnall, another victory at the X. The Woodlands winning the battle here at the faceoff, but still down by 3. You know, I hear a lot, Dalton, a lot of different coaches explain how important the faceoff is. How is ESD able to dodge that bullet by losing so many faceoffs, but still being ahead?
Well, I think it starts with just the self-evaluation and being realistic. You know, Leary's done a great job of stepping up in a position that he hasn't done and is really battling, and he's winning. He's gotten a couple there, but they know that that's going to be in favor of the Woodlands. And just putting a bigger emphasis on, hey, when we get in the offensive end, we got to make sure we capitalize, that eliminate the unforced turnovers like we just saw there with the Woodlands. And every possession matters in the offensive end, and they're doing a heck of a job on shooting the ball.
Yeah, I would have to say they've lost a significant number of possessions just on little dinky dunk, you know, errors, you know, putting the ball on the ground, and they need to clean that up.
Just like that, Jim. That's what you can't do when you're not winning the face-off battle. You got an easy clear there. You got to communicate. Logan's got to get back on sides faster.
Defense all the way out on the perimeter on Kaletsis. Number 6, Luke Mauser, defending against number 1. Vander Nelson. Everybody taking a shot at running out at number 1. Still doesn't matter. He turns back inside with the shot.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of going super early. And it doesn't really seem to matter whether it's a short stick. It's certainly helpful when you got athletes like Conradi matching up, going foot for foot.
Mason Wendell trying to dive back inside for a shot attempt.
Yeah, ESD is right now winning that little half-step battle on the defensive side. They're able to get that last little bit of hazing.
Mr. Wendell again working his way back inside on the crease, and a goal. The Woodlands down by 2 here in the third quarter.
Yeah, Wendell does a great job taking advantage of that short stick matchup, and then just a really well-placed shot going high to low. That's what you got to do inside. Cutting the lead. 8-6.
Kowalski is asking himself, how? How did they get through?
Well, yeah, on that roll, he felt that stick coverage on his back. He knew where his leverage was, just to turn all the way in, and it deked our cameraman.
Jim, that's a great point. Just feeling that defender and using that leverage to get that inside roll.
ESD on the move. Great defense.
And that was a great job. That's the things that ESD's got to do. You got to jump that face-off guy, apply pressure to create more cause turnovers.
And Josh Logan standing in the alley as ESD taking their time to set up their offense. With a 2-goal lead. Pass from behind X. Christian Pierce defending for the Woodlands.
A lot of pick game, trying to switch onto a short stick.
Finally get the matchup. Sean Brown with a window. Boy, steel Kroom. Nerves of steel standing in front of that shot.
Well, he does a really good job on cutting down that angle, stepping out a little bit, and then great hand speed on getting across to that near side.
Kroom trying to get the clear. Time is becoming important. Alexis has a defender breathing down on him, able to pull it back. Players running off and on. Substitutions being made. Sawyer Stewart makes his way over to the near side. Thought about taking the pick. Great pass inside. Alexis hustling for the loose ball and pushed out of bounds. Possession going the other way to ESD.
Yeah, that was a tough one. On those loose ball pushes, if you're a attackman, that's exactly what chemo's supposed to do. If you feel a little pressure to go ahead and fall, a lot of times you can get that call. But I think the official recognized he was trying to sell that.
Fisher's not falling for the acting job, and possession going to ESD. Sean Brown now standing on the near side.
Could have a little big little action here on the wing.
Over the, just whizzes past the ear of Steel Kroom as he calls his defense over. And that shot was in his line of sight, but he had some interference in front of him.
Yeah, he sure did, but Sands unloaded. There's just a lot of weapons for ESD that you have to account for if you're the Highlanders.
Yeah, kudos to Sean Brown there, winning his one-on-one matchup, dishing that over to Hunt Sands, who drops his hands, and that gets Kroom to drop down a little bit and coil up and down instead of exploding out. He's able to put that past him.
That was victory at the face-off. Now the Woodlands down by 3. Pick coming from Baron Sager.
Yep, going to get him with the moving pick. Sager moved. You know, you got to be stationary. It's really the ball carrier's job to make the contact and run that defender into the picker. So it's always better to set that pick a little bit sooner.
Yeah, you really want to just guide him to the wall. And, that's why they got to give you a target. They got to be out early and give you a target.
Oh, we saw the mistake on the errant pass by the Woodlands and not the penalty, but the turnover by Coletsis. ESD makes them pay. Now you get the moving screen. Will ESD make them pay for this mistake as well?
Sean Brown getting fancy with the bounce pass.
And that is a turnover. Unfortunate. Hunt Sands holding on to his arm. Hope he's okay.
Yeah, I think he might have hurt himself swinging at that loose ball and dragging his stick through that on that transition from the track to the turf.
Boy, trying to weave through traffic. Christian Pierce.
And that was a great job by Reese Harrison, utilizing that sideline to corner the Woodlands ball carrier. We'll be heading off to Lynn to play college ball, NCAA Division II.
We have a little sun peeking through here in Magnolia. Kowalski with the save.
That or the longest lightning strike known to man.
Don't even say it.
Great handle there by Gatchell, who pushed that in transition.
And Steel Cruz, look, I am not going to let a long pole goal happen right here. I'm going to get this save. Another opportunity here for the Woodlands to get a score. 3:25 left in the third quarter.
And the Woodlands had some transition opportunity there. Great job by Koloski stepping out of the cage and guarding that defender to allow his teammates to recover back in and match up.
Sager being defended by number 18, Vaughn Langston. Bouncer inside, and Sawyer Stewart with the score. And just like that, the Woodlands pull back to within two.
Two-man, two-man, two-man. We are seeing a ton of that here offensively. That was a great job utilizing the two-man from behind and then finding Stewart in the inside.
And make sure that we keep an eye on number 4, Hunt Sands, again on that last loose ball. He's chasing it down, but was holding his shoulder.
ESD starting to mix it up, bringing a pole out to face off. And that's what they want. They don't want to generate any offense out of the face-off. When you have that pole, a lot of times it forces them behind. They're going to have to get it across.
Oh, Sean Brown. Better get somebody on this guy in a hurry. 1v1, number 10 makes him pay. And just like that, they answer.
Yeah, Brown just laid in wait at near midfield, just held his ground, looked for the opportunity, and as soon as he got it, he took off.
Great stick protection right there by Sean Brown, switching it over to his outside hand, which is actually his weak hand, and it's able to put that past Kroom. But to your point, hey, what do you do when it's this lopsided in the face-off? Yes, Woodlands won the face-off. You had the deep hole, so that forced him to go backwards. The Woodlands had 1 second left to get it over the midline before it was going to be a change of possession. That's why they rushed that pass, and it ended up getting picked off by Sean Brown.
Presnall with the win at the Axon. We have a timeout. Timeout called, and the ESD with a 3-score lead. Game On Sports Network would like to thank one of our sponsors for the weekend, Big Bad Carts. They do custom golf carts with only the best parts the industry has to offer. From mild to wild, they can do it all from their offices in Salina, Texas. Check them out at bigbadcarts.com. Timeout taken on the field. We're going to do the same here in the booth and return as action resumes here on Game On Sports Network. Action set to start here with 2 minutes, 12 seconds left in the third quarter. Heckma Harrison alongside Jim Dixon and Dalton Jernigan. Coletts is trying to make his way down the alley, running through traffic. They're trying to keep bodies running at number one. Quickness. Boy, how about that shot there from Sawyer Stewart?
I mean, that feed, though, was on a rope from Chemo, 25 yards out.
Yeah, Coletts is, I mean, he's quick. Everything about him is fast. The way his hand speed is tremendous. The way he shifts from his dominant to his offhand just effortlessly.
Out on the run.
A monster GB by Newhoff.
And Sean Brown now working from behind the X, and he's continuing to put pressure on this Woodlands defense. Steel Kroom had himself a good game, boy, but he's been peppered with shots. And only down by 3.
Looks like they're setting up the big little. Lear setting the pick for Sean Brown.
Sean Brown coming back around, question mark. Shot going to go out of bounds. Possession, however, staying on this end with the Eagles.
Continuing to work that invert here and attacking the short sticks from behind.
Hunt Sands, we were worried about his shoulder. He looks like he is okay.
Certainly didn't have a problem leaning into that defender there.
No, he didn't.
Had to get that shot off. There's only 3 seconds left in the shot clock.
And now with only 16 seconds left here in the third quarter, there's a bit of a scrum here at the 40. Ball going out of bounds, possession going the other way.
And that was a great job by Sean Brown, utilizing his length.
Uh-oh. That one off the top of the pipe. Wow.
Great situational awareness to know about the transition coming in and finding that open space.
And that is the end of the third quarter. A pace. Oh my God. A pace, guys, that from first half to third quarter, this game is flying by.
Buckle up. Still one more left.
One more quarter left. And right now, ESD with a 3-score lead. Game On would like to thank one of our sponsors for this weekend's games, Next Gen Audio Video. They've been serving North Dallas since 2010 with services that include home theater design and installation. You'll have peace of mind knowing that all of your AV needs are in the hands of people who care. Check them out at nextgenaudiovideo.com. And we'll be back for the beginning of the fourth quarter. A state title will be handed out one way or another. ESD with a 3-goal lead going into the fourth quarter. The Woodlands has to answer. Beckman Harrison alongside Dalton Jernigan. And what's your name again?
Jaime. My name is Jaime.
Jim Dixon. Any opportunity given, man, JD's going to take it. Here we go. Fourth quarter of action, Class 2A. State title will be handed out. Another errant pass there by the Woodlands. And
those little mistakes are crawling back in on you.
I like what Dalton calls them. When you call them micro mistakes, the micro mistakes. That's what I tell my teenagers, baby, that's just a micro mistake.
It doesn't sound so bad. But
it doesn't actually.
It's awful painful. It's
never heard of a micro mistake before, but that's
positive criticism.
Okay, micro mistake. I like it.
Positive and negative, double negative.
Yeah.
But a lot of that's starting because of ESD. They've really gotten into this flat ride where their attackmen are all the way back to the 45, which has caused a lot of confusion and turnovers, similar to a 10-man, but not quite.
Yeah, and they are frustrating them and causing these less than positive outcomes.
But right now, I mean, ESD's offense is just really dominating, winning the matchups, and then just continuing to move the ball.
Josh Logan running around a screen. Able to let off a lefty shot. Possession staying on this end with ESD. Timeout called on the, a whistle blown. Stoppage in play.
Officials timeout.
Yes. Sean Brown bringing the ball in play. A little micro mistake by myself. Finding his way back top side. Slide coming immediately.
Well, the Woodlands defense has definitely got to switch it up. I mean, Sean Brown has really had their way.
This is, you see the opportunities there for ESD. Again, just continuing on the rotation, but staying aggressive. Finding him inside, and man, what a dish to Josh Logan.
I mean, that was an impressive feed by Xavier, the senior, heading off to Westminster.
See that?
Leans in to his guy. It looks like almost like a little lever. Just dumps that right in his pocket. And I mean, that was impressive.
Beautiful score now.
It almost looked like it accidentally just fell in his pocket.
It did, but he knew exactly what to do with it when he got it. And another victory at the X4 Asher Presnall. Trying to get back around topside. Chemo Coletsis finds a guy in the alley. Oh, man, here we go. William O'Rourke with the score. And the Highlanders are not going away.
No, they didn't come here to go away. But O'Rourke is one of these guys that has been contributing, I mean, ground balls, picking stuff up, taking his shots. He's gotten a couple of goals on the weekend, but contributing when he just a lot of positive contribution from him.
Well, he does a really good job of playing within himself and just working that inside crease. You know ESD's got to slide, especially the Chemo. He causes a lot of attention. And if you could find those soft spots in the defense, you can capitalize just like that.
Preston, another victory at the face-off. The Highlanders now down by 3. Have their work cut out for them. Colette says, ouch.
That was a great job. Mason Perry stepping up and soaking that shot.
Got a player down. That's Mason Perry. You call it soaking up shots. He wants to call it something else.
Well, I can tell you what. I mean, Kowalski was out of the cage. If he didn't step up and eat that shot, there's a good chance that was going in the back of the net. And that's just what you got to do defensively.
Yep, sacrifices are being made. Get that man an ice pack.
I'll tell you what, that was one thing you did not do in college. Shout out to Sean Woods. It was a whole heck of a lot painless soaking the shot than having to deal with his wrath as a defender. currently coaching at Amherst.
Colin Brown working from behind X.
Well, it's funny because he ran by the goalie cage and received absolutely no sympathy.
Coletsis, again, in between the numbers and hash.
I mean, that was just great positioning by Langston there. He was leading off his player, and the timing on the slide to immediately get to Chemo's hands, that's been the big difference maker. This defensive unit from ESD, coached up by Mike Kutzer, the D coordinator, has been impressive.
O'Rourke thought he had an opportunity there, and possession going the other way for ESD.
Well, I mean, does Chemo, he's sitting there looking at three guys. He's got it. He has to guess where the pressure's coming from.
Great pass inside, and they elect to pull it back.
Sounds like we're getting some coaching advice from the Woodlands parents, telling them to go press out.
Well, it's just like church. Many attend, few understand.
That might be your best line of the weekend.
I can't steal that. That's a Leo DeRocher quote.
Boy, that one's one from about...
Oh, no.
Oh, my! Oh, no!
Kroom handled that high, came down, and had it just crawl down his stick over his back.
Oh, you hate to see that. And Josh Logan, he's nearing the sock trick.
And that's just bad luck right there. Kroom with a great save.
Yeah, what should have turned into a nice offensive run and not what it turned into.
Continuing now and work behind X, trying to find and get this pass into Coletsis, and look at the hustle for the loose ball. More whistles.
We got a Highlander down.
Yeah, I think Wendell took a shot there.
Mason Wendell. Going off on his own. Josh Logan bringing the ball in play for the Eagles. It's ahead by 4. Still plenty of time here for the Highlanders.
The Woodlands, they need to value every possession and just focus on playing mistake-free.
And that was a great start right there by Steel Kroom, bouncing back after that last goal. But unfortunately, a mishandle from the long sticks, turnover, ESD's ball back.
And I think, JD, look, won't call jinx, but as you were saying, it's like if you're on the other side for the Highlanders, you have to take care of every possession.
Oh, they're like gold right now, and you have to convert, but more importantly, you got to get down where you can convert, and these little tiny errors are coming back to bite them. And we talked about that from the get-go, and
And that's where I think, actually, even though ESD is not winning those face-off matchups, they knew that going into it.
Right.
And that really forced them to play smarter. And sometimes you see that whether you have, short depth. I went through it with shout out to the Gore State Grizzlies, 50th anniversary Vail champs. You just have to play smarter when you recognize having one of those weaknesses. And right now, that's what ESD is certainly doing and capitalizing on the offensive end.
They have definitely exploited those. And
I mean, I don't think there's a thing wrong with telling your squad, hey, we're going to have a challenge at face-off today. So here's what we have to do. Here's our success formula. I don't think there's a thing wrong with saying, hey, we have this shortcoming. Here's how we work through it. And ESD has managed it.
Boy, picking the pocket here as the Woodlands are fighting for this possession. Coletsis with the pass, and that is a laser shot from number 10, Aaron Sager.
Yeah, and he looked like he was getting Koloski to drop, but fortunately for ESD, I think Koloski got a piece of that. Big save by ESD.
5 minutes, 11 seconds left here in the Class 2A state title. The McKinney Police Association is raffling a vehicle at their annual charitable golf tournament. This tournament benefits officers during trying times. Those trying times include injuries, severely sick children, and many other things that tend to burden officers with expenses out of their control. You can assist with this great cause by purchasing a $100 raffle ticket for your opportunity to win a brand new Cadillac CT4. The winner of this vehicle will be announced on the day of the tournament, May 24th, 2024. You do not need to be present to win. Go to www.cognitoforms.com/NEP services/Crest Car Raffle to purchase tickets. And we are close to the trophy ceremony. Who is going to hoist it is the question right now. ESD with a 4-point lead, and the Woodlands continue to threaten. Both teams back on the field. And bringing the ball in play is going to be number 1, Kimo Coletsis. Coletsis being draped by Mauser.
Oh, wow.
And I tell you what, that's one of those shots right there on the other end for Kimo Coletsis. Man.
Well, and that's what in those pick situations, jump, switch. Unfortunately, I think he maybe led with a cross check there, got him a little bit high. You see him set it up. He steps up, and he extends his arms, and he rides up. So that's why they're going to call that a cross check.
Yeah, I think that once you leave your feet, you're kind of dead to rights on that call too. But had his hands a little split on the shaft.
So man up opportunity here for the Highlanders. And JD, if they can treat this possession as gold, as you've wanted them to, they do have another opportunity because, look, they're literally 90% almost from the face-off. Maybe they can cover some ground here because of this man up opportunity.
And, I think they're calling an illegal body check. Maybe signaling to the head. This is going to be locked in. I mean, so this is going to be a big opportunity for the Woodlands. If they can capitalize, it's going to be make it, take it, and they do right there.
There it is. There it is. Make it, take it. Baron Sager makes them pay.
ESD on the defensive front with limited resources was focusing on Kimo Coletsis and very shrewdly distributing the ball.
So here's the difference. Asher Presnall back down at the faceoff.
And this was a 2-minute locked-in penalty. This could really give Woodlands that gleamer of hope to cut the lead with under 5 minutes to play in the game.
And no one out on the wing. Get it back to Coletsis.
ESD had a substitution delay, but fortunately they're able to cover that back up. 5-man rotation. Good ball movement here from the Woodlands.
Now you're looking for a cutter. You got O'Rourke standing inside. Coletsis lets one fly.
That was a huge save. Chemo was signaling in that upper 90.
C-55 there standing in the alley. All of the attention out on the perimeter. And another opportunity. That ball bounces straight in the air.
And another great example there by Mauser stepping up in that shooting lane. I think he took that one off the arm, saving his team a goal.
4 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. Trying to work the clear. Again, this is...
That's what you got to do. Give it to your best athlete.
Ham Conradi.
And it looks like ESD is able to survive the penalty, only giving up 1 goal from a 2-minute locked in.
Boy, missed opportunity there by the Highlanders.
We got some interesting dancing here in the stands. Get their sumo squats in.
Oh, God. That's what JD does in the morning. That's the sumo squat. Over the coffee pot. Sean Brown can't leave that guy by himself.
Big stop by Kroom. Looked like there was a little bit of confusion on the defensive end for the Woodlands that allowed Sean Brown to penetrate. Tried to beat Kroom high to high, but Kroom was there to stop it.
I'm not giving any excuses here for the Highlanders, but they had 2 points called off by crease violations, and then still Kroom with the save and one that drops into the net.
Yeah, and it goes back to those little mistakes. You know, that puts points on the board and takes points off, and you know, we're net looking at extra time.
Hey, Dalton, got a question for you. Obviously, 2:39 here. You're down by 3 scores, and I've always, in my calling these lacrosse games, understanding that no lead is safe, time is nothing. If you're on the other side for the Highlanders and Coach DeMayo, what's your thought process right now, knowing the kind of athletes that you have and the kind of ground that you need to make up?
Well, I mean, you're totally right. No lead safe. 2 minutes and almost 40 seconds. That's a lot of time, especially when you're winning 80, 90% of the faceoffs. You can play make it, take it. And certainly when you get a facilitator like Chemo Coletsis, you just don't try to score all 3 goals in one possession. It's just chip away one at a time, be methodical, continue to play just a team-oriented offense. Draw the slide, move it, re-attack, draw the slide, move it. Don't take the first shot, take the best shot.
Don't take the first shot, take the best shot. From Dalton Jernigan, and we will go with that. Let's see what is the mind state coming down the stretch here for the Highlanders.
Now, that's not saying the first shot, it could be the best shot, but it's got to be the best shot.
Just the best shot, and you got to have confidence in that and commit to it. Get it in the back of the net.
2-man action again.
He loses it off of his stick with the shot. Sawyer Stewart had an opportunity, lost it.
That was a great job. They've been successful slipping Chemo to the weak side. He drew that adjacent slide, and the ESD with the timeout.
Game On Sports is more than just home of the THSLL. Game On also broadcasts football, baseball, basketball from high schools all over Texas. You can see our full schedule on our website at GameOnSportsNetwork.com and stay up to date on all of our social media channels at Game On Sports Network. 2:12 left to play in this THSLL Class 2A championship, and back and forth we go as the Woodlands have tried to battle back even when they pull to within 1 or 2. ESD finds a way to get back in this game. You've already said it. They can't get it, they can't win it in one shot. They're going to have to take it one at a time, Dalton. But, man, time becoming important here as the seconds get to tick off. And if those self-inflicted micro mistakes that they're making, they can't continue those down the stretch.
You're correct. You're in kind of a difficult position here. If you let them use that entire shot clock, you're going to bring it down to about a minute left. So you got to press, but you don't want to give up a goal right here. But I would be surprised if the Woodlands comes out in a double team. Probably a good chance they'll use 2 poles and just really try to squeeze that ball carrier into hopefully making a cause turnover.
Well, what we saw at the timeout was the Woodlands was really chasing. It wasn't they were playing aggressive defense. They were just really chasing the ball.
And you called it. There's the double team. Ball comes off the head of a stick, and that is a chase for that ground ball. Who wants it? As there is a scrum on the far side. Oh, my God.
Woodlands has been doing a good job. And that's exactly what they needed to do. Force the turnover, the double team. Almost had an interference there in the clear. Just got to be patient in the clear here. Got plenty of time to get it across.
And that's exactly what they do. Christian Pierce.
And that's whose stick you want the ball in.
Coletsis drawing the double team. Baron Sager with the pass across the field. And Kowalski. He welcomes the challenge and another save. 1 minute left.
Yeah, that was a great job just tracking that.
Great. Well, I was going to say great save, but that was a dive there by Josh Logan trying to save the possession for the Eagles. 40 seconds left here in the fourth quarter.
Gonna have to go quick here.
Aaron Sager pass out. That's a shot that's gonna hit the leg of Kowalski. Emo Coletsis with the pass. Wendell inside and the score. 19 seconds.
Yeah,
wow.
Wendell with a nice spin and great penetration into that shooting lane.
Yeah, I mean, he learned from some of his teammates just catch it and shoot it right away. He redodges that on the roll to work his way in front of the cage and is able to put that past ESD to bring it within 2. 19 seconds left. Look for Presnell to pop this out the front to generate transition offense in a fast break.
Presnell out to the wing. 15 seconds. Trying to get his stick back around. They're not going to have any of it.
ESD does a great job there, crashing on the ball carrier to get that double team. 7 seconds left. Almost connected the 60-yard pass.
As the clock ticks down to 0, ESD, the revenge tour for 2024, they have got themselves a state title. The losing in overtime last season, this is an ESD squad that has been on fire all season long. What a great victory.
Yeah, kudos to the ESD Eagles and their coaching staff. They did the best job in terms of playing and keeping their composure. They were well coached by Coach Southern and his staff, and they come out on top here this afternoon. A lot of kudos to the Woodlands. I mean, the Woodlands was a team that was really banged up. They lost some key offensive players this year. They had to have a lot of younger players step up. I mean, this was a very impressive season by the Woodlands, who unfortunately came up a little bit short.
Good to see these guys celebrate, and I tell you, I agree wholeheartedly with you, Dalton, and you're seeing the Woodlands and the way that they battled this weekend, but they tried to ride their best players and just came up short, missed opportunities, mistakes that were made. These guys, obviously, those crease violations cost them in the first half, but man, this has been one of those games where when I look back on it, I'm just going to say, JD, there's some missed opportunities on the other end for the Woodlands, because they had plenty of opportunity to pull off the victory.
No, they did, and they really sacrificed the transition game with the being eaten alive by these little small errors, these turnovers, these created ground balls, and just unfortunate, because they were hanging in. They had their opportunity. Just too many small mistakes mounted up. And we talked about ESD, the way they were going to play at the start of the game, and they, for the most part, continued on with what they started yesterday, which is playing just solid lacrosse. Do what you got to do. Take advantage of what you can take advantage of. Don't make small mistakes. Don't turn the ball over. And they did a better job of that, and they owned the transition game because of it.
And the other end, I want to say, Sean Brown. This is a guy that obviously is about to go off and play some big-time college lacrosse. The way that he wrapped up his career is fitting for a guy that is obviously one of the best in the state of Texas. And Dalton, obviously, with you being a guy that has played some big-time lacrosse in college, man, what a guy like that for Sean Brown finishing his career the way that he just did, man. What are your words of wisdom for him and just the impact that he's had here in the state of Texas?
Just keep getting better. Continue to be coachable. He's a player, had the opportunity to coach against him. And as a freshman, he was getting the number one pull. He's got the number one matchup every single game he has had. And with that comes a lot of adversity growing when you're starting off as a 14, 15-year-old freshman all the way until you're a senior. And, his coach was very complimentary of him, just talked about how proud he was and just playing for the team. He's doing whatever it takes for his team to come out on top, which he showcased that off today with winning a state championship, and whatever role his team needed. If you need to make an argument for adding the hockey assists like you have in indoor lacrosse to field lacrosse, go back and look at yesterday. He did an incredible job, and then he stepped up on feeding the rock on those, first assists, and then certainly starting the party today on that first goal they had. He just did an impressive job, and I was looking back at the notes from talking to Coach Southern before the game, and, he had mentioned know the knowns, which is clear. You saw them in the face-off and how they got creative in between the lines. And he really felt like whoever made the least amount of mistakes today was going to win. And then you got to give Coach DeMeo and his staff a lot of recognition on the coaching job they did this year. You lose a guy who's going to Penn State because they got relocated for work. You lose one of your best offensive players last year who didn't play like a freshman in the state championship, Stockton Stewart. And then right as the playoffs get going, you lose Rich Crouch, another facilitator, and you bring it within 2 in the state championship. They had a really impressive season. And I know it's kind of difficult to kind of see that right now, but when you look at the big picture, the macro level, they had a heck of a season this year.
No, absolutely. They did, and this so many players that to mention, but I just saying that about Sean Brown and just the impact that he's had over the years that he's been at ESD. A big kid. I mean, if you're down on field level with him, what did you say, 6'3", 6'4"? How big is he?
I would say that's a pretty good guess.
Pretty good guess. I mean, he's a big kid that's going to fill out, and I have absolutely a tremendous amount of respect for him and his game and the way that he's played, calling so many of his games over the years. So big shout out to him and where he goes. But tonight it is all about ESD and them winning a championship, taking the trophy back home. And a MVP awarded to TJ Gatchel. The ESD Eagles.
And Gatchel, he's had to handle a lot of adversity. He was their #1 cover guy all last year. He's banged up, playing through injuries, and is a leader on the defensive end.
The offensive MVP to number 33, Josh Logan.
Logan lighting up the scoreboard. I mean, he really did a great job just finding the back of the net today.
15,
Cam Kamrati with the overall MVP, and Cam Kamrati just standing there.
Hey, well, you know what, Cam? You've had a great career.
Absolutely.
We're looking forward to seeing you play Division I ball at St. Joe's, and he had a great game.
Cam Kamrati is probably standing there like, what did I do? It's Mother's Day. And Mrs. Kamrati, it's Mother's Day.
And they called the audible.
And they called an audible. They give it to Sean Brown. And
hey, every one of those guys is deserving. I mean, that's a great team win for ESD, and just a lot of contribution and a lot of the way to come out and focus and do what you're supposed to do when you have the opportunity.
But kudos to making those corrections and not riding it out. Sean Brown, clearly the overall MVP. He's been the leader of this team. You saw it with him just taking it to the rack, having the hat trick, and just being the facilitator.
As the runner-up trophy handed out to the Woodlands, and now the championship trophy going to ESD, and the celebration continues. And a great victory for Episcopal School of Dallas. And guys, this has been one heck of a weekend put on by the THSLL, and got to give so many thanks and kudos to so many people, but especially Magnolia High School for welcoming this tournament this weekend. Not only the tournament here, but also over at Magnolia West. We had 2 games going simultaneously all weekend, and Jim, I'm sure you're ready to do 2 more games.
I got 3 in me.
Oh, I love it.
But I like the juggling act that Magnolia pulled off here, and tremendous hosts, and couldn't be nicer folks.
What do you think about this and the job that the THSLL does when throwing this tournament?
I mean, this has been great. Everything from the Texas High School Lacrosse League to Game On, with the production, the video work. I mean, this is a first-class production. Awesome venue to host. Kudos to Magnolia on hosting it. And especially after watching that game, I know, just like Jim said, I'm juiced. I could keep doing this all night, but unfortunately, I think I got Bucky's call my name.
Yeah, and so much of this is just so much hard work goes to this on the back end. You talk about the crew and all of the people that facilitated from THSLL, the guys at the scorers table, all of the referees that were a part of this as well, but also the guys on our crew, on our staff, for Tyler Rodriguez, for Steven Rangel, JoJo Miles, Cookie Hawkins, Ted Price, Trevor Van Dam, David Horn. Also, a guy that missed his graduation to be here.
He did not miss it. He just did not attend it.
For the guy that missed his graduation, Garrett Hayes, man, I want to send a special shout out to you and the job that you do here and the many big sacrifices that you make, and some guy named Fred Garner. But also, Lisa,
Can't forget about Lisa.
How do we do any of this?
We can't eat without Lisa. We can't do a thing. We're homeless bums if Lisa is not on the crew.
How do we do?
We'd probably be eating those Waffle House steaks, right? You were talking about.
That's how tough this whole outfit would be without her. But Lisa, happy Mother's Day to you, and a special happy belated birthday to you as well. Today is her birthday, so happy birthday. If I didn't have Trevor Van Dam in my ear, I don't know what. You should be with me when I'm doing my taxes, Trevor. But thank you. Thank all of you guys for being a part of this. For my guy over here, man, Dalton Jernigan, man, thank you for coming along for the ride and helping us evaluate the game at a high level, man. Thank you for being a part of this team as well. And also my main man, JD, Jim Dixon, thank you for riding always. I'm Heckman Harrison. This has been Game On Sports Network.